So we'll introduce the panel one at a time. I'll turn first to my colleague on the right here, Shermon Cruz, who's a futurist and a chair on anticipatory governance and regenerative cities. And I'm just wondering, Shermon, if how AI might change, affect, for good or bad, anticipatory governance.
From the, I think it's close.
Yep.
There you go. Okay. From your question and embarking from what Daniel's trying to tell us, it reminded me of a workshop that I had involving chief innovation technology developers and city administrators in the US for a period of like around 6 months, including workshops that I did in Indonesia and Malaysia about the future of cities. And three things came out as a premise in the context of democracy or democratic institution as complex adaptive systems. One insight that I got from a period of time exchanging with them about the future of artificial intelligence and its implication to the future of institution, whether they're traditional or contemporary, is that complex adaptive systems like democratic institutions are either killed or weakened in the absence of randomness and stressors. You know, imagine the knowable and unknowable implications of artificial intelligence to complex adaptive systems like parliaments, departments, ministries, including, of course, the people who actually facilitates how this institution operate as agents of change. Second is the idea that we don't get to choose our crisis. You know, the complexity of the many forces of change that continue to influence our ways of knowing and perceiving whatever methodology, tools, ideas, these things are, given the fact that democratic institutions are knowledge spaces, they are ideation spaces wherein we test, construct, challenge each other's ways of knowing, and hopefully bring out better ideas, better foresight for better futures. But then what they realize is that, you know what? I just realized that we don't really actually get to choose our crisis. That's where the randomness comes in, because these are the things that are beyond our control, given the fact that we operate in particular geographies and that there are several actors involved. So it's just too complex even to anticipate perhaps those things, but we could, apparently, through anticipatory governance. And the third one is that learning how to fail forward. You know, we are not perfect as human beings and institution. We shape our technologies. They're not perfect. And it reminds me of what Marshall McLuhan once said. We shape our technology and thereafter our technology shape us. But then, of course, as human beings, we get to learn in the process as we engage and interact with the tools that you're using, including AI. Now, imagine waking up in a brave new world and meeting the latest version of an evolved AI, let's say in the year 2050. You meet him, or her, or it, right? Assuming that they have gender as well. What would you ask that evolved version of AI in the year 2050? What lingering future past and future questions about AI, democracy, society, policy, parliaments, enterprises, wealth, community and society, among others, would you ask that evolved AI? What is that compelling question that you cannot overlook? Would you dare to ask that artificial intelligent being? Who happened probably, let's say, a member of the parliament in the year 2050, who happens to say, let's say, your boss as an AI, your coworker as an AI, your city administrator as your AI. It could be as well your astronaut. It could be as well your neighbor, your coworker, your principal, or a friend. What would that look like? What would you inquire, right? So I would ask that, let's just say, the latest version of AI in 2050, and assuming that what Jerry has told us has actually happened in the year 2050, is that I would ask these questions. Has the rapid adaptability and deployment of evolutionary AI diminished the role of human intuition, judgment, and ethics in decision-making, in governance decision, or has it increased or amplified our capacity to lead and govern smartly and wisely? How have we addressed the lingering issue of transparency and biases inherent in AI algorithms that have influenced the outcomes in the way we do anticipatory governance, particularly in, let's just say, I've heard this yesterday in our workshop, diverse communities, indigenous societies, heterogeneous epistemes and epistemologies, and no-one societies? Has the future been cognitively or at the level of meta, our ways of perceiving and constructing the future, colonized? Or has our imaginations about plausible and preferred futures, as mentioned by Daniel, colonized? How have we been able to decolonize evolutionary AI and anticipatory governance and hopefully eventually serve our purposes and intentions as communities and nation states? And of course, last but not the least, did the development of AI made our democratic institutions and traditional forms of public good outdated and obsolete? What new forms of public good and services has emerged? Are they memory-based? Are they human relation-driven based? So these are the questions that I would ask, that evolve AI, let's just say in the year 2050. Now, using these questions to frame the compelling question that we might need to address today and in the now, stress testing these ideas, I think, are the kind of conversation we need to have, in the parliaments as we anticipate things, for us, hopefully, as a common good.
Thank you, Sherman. Yeah, Sherman with a futurist technique called the Rip Van Winkle question. You fall asleep and you wake up 50 years later and you want to know how the world is. And so what questions you ask is a way of understanding how you currently frame the world. And perhaps that's change or in the process of changing.